Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of the WazzyCircus Radio. It's a show where I'm able to interview the most interesting people on earth. Today, man, I come to this show with honor, gratitude, and all humbleness. My dude's got 60 years in the sport. First jump, 1964. 15,000 skydives. His photos have been on the cover of The Parachutist 37 times. More than a dozen world records shot. Some of the most beautiful photos in skydiving. Mr. Mike McGowan. What up, dude?
Hello there.
Oh, man.
Wow, you really kind of built me up there. That was nice of you.
Whatever. That's how I feel about you, brother. How you been, dude? What's going on, Mikey?
Well, I just got over about a pneumonia, so I was down on my back for a month and a half.
No shit.
Yeah, and I'm just getting back to where I'm shooting a Hall of Fame in 2 weeks.
Nice.
And I got to get my stamina back because, man, that's grueling when you're doing a documentary.
Right.
You got to be every place at once.
Right.
You know.
So pneumonia, what do you know what happened?
I just got this an infection in your lungs, and I just
got over something too a couple of weeks ago. Like I thought I called it valley fever. I thought it was the dust in the air that got me or something.
If you had valley fever, you'd still know it.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't that. It was just, man, I couldn't breathe all of a sudden. It wasn't COVID. Man, that's nuts. I think it was the dirt.
Oh, yeah, the dust around here. It'll get to you, yeah.
So the Hall of Fame, the Skydive Hall of Fame is going to be in DeLand?
Going to be in Illinois at Skydive Chicago.
That's where the museum's going to be?
No, that's where they're having an induction of the new members of the Hall of Fame.
Gotcha. That's what
and
you're shooting.
You know, they do all the ceremonies and
right,
and all the stuff they like to do.
So there was a rumor that they were building a skydive museum and there would be an iFly tunnel attached to it.
That's a rumor.
That's a rumor. Okay, so that hasn't broke ground yet.
No, they haven't broke ground on the museum yet.
Okay,
they're still working out the finances so they can get it going.
So I have some paintings. Oh, I'm getting shit confused, man. My schedule's so stacked. It's the PIA is what I'm thinking about. It's not the Skydive Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But I thought it had something to do with the Skydiving Museum.
The PIA?
Yeah, this year, I think they were doing something. I'm sorry. Man, I'm just busy, dude. So, you're doing a documentary on what?
On the Hall of Fame ceremonies where they induct the new members of the Hall of Fame. And then they have all kinds of ceremonies honoring the different groups of people and things like that. Huge dinner Saturday night where they do the induction.
Nice.
Norm Kent, I can't think of the other three, but there's three more people getting inducted.
Sick. Yeah, I saw somebody, Olaf Zipser.
Olaf. Yeah, how can I forget Olaf? He's my buddy.
You know Olaf. That's your generation, right?
Yeah.
Norman Kent, Olaf, you guys. That was right. No, that was two before me. Wow, you've been jumping for a long time. Yeah, Olaf is the father of Freeflyer.
He sure is.
Like, nobody was doing it before him, right? People have played with it, but he perfected it.
He's the one that made Body Flight, and he did it right here at Eloy.
It was here?
Yeah.
I thought it was overseas somewhere.
No, he was right here, him and Omar.
Omar Al-Hagan. Omar Sky.
Yeah.
Did you know Omar Sky?
Oh, very well.
Man, I never met him. I saw him in the videos back in the day. They were legends. They were pioneers, pure pioneers.
Yeah, they are. Omar got put in the Hall of Fame last year.
So Omar used to put his rig on and then put his jump pants on top of his leg straps. So it looked like he was just wearing pants, right?
Yeah.
And he'd have no shirt on, right? And he'd go do like this fucking cool shit.
Yeah.
That was skyboards.
Sky surfing was Patrick Desgardins.
Okay. Were you part of that?
Yeah. Him and I competed in the world meet and took first place.
In skyboards?
Sky surfing, yeah.
Were you on the board or video?
I was video.
Your video. So were you like, how slow do those boards fall?
Well, the speed rate changes depending on what they're doing.
Okay. So if they're spinning, it's slowing down, and if they're like diving and cruising, you're tracking your face off.
Yeah, I was going anywhere from 100 miles an hour to 170 miles an hour.
With the board?
Yeah, when he would really do a real steep dive.
What year was this?
Maybe 94, 95,
Holy
somewhere around there.
fuck. Can we find video? How would we find that, Mike?
I don't know.
If we, what was it, World Meet?
Yeah, it was a world meet right here.
1994 World's Arizona Sky.
I think it was 94. It could have been 95.
But
You're
sky
taxing,
surfing.
you're taxing this little guy's memory.
I'm sorry, man. It's just so exciting. You know, because like it doesn't even exist anymore. And a lot of the guys in my generation, I started in 2005, right? So we were inspired by those World Games. Yo, so I know Gary, God damn it, what's Gary's last name? Gary and his wife. Gary got an Emmy for shooting video on the skyboard during one of the competitions. He won an Emmy or a Grammy or some shit.
Olaf Sisper won a Grammy.
Okay.
Or no, he won an Academy Award.
Academy Award. Okay. So Gary shot his wife Cindy, who's a fucking airline pilot. He shot them one year. Skyboarding was
Gary
huge.
Haas.
Haas, the Haas family.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, I filmed them.
Yeah, I love the Haas's, dude. We would party on their ranch in Texas, in Dallas.
Yeah.
Right
yeah,
outside the drop
yeah.
zone. We party at the Haas ranch, dude. We go swoop
Yeah.
his fucking runway and his pond.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
badass. Yeah, they were
Yeah,
skyboarders. So that's an Emmy, right? The girl holding the ball with the wings? Or is that a Grammy? I don't know the fucking awards.
Yeah, I think it was a Grammy.
How awesome is that, huh?
Yeah, they're great people.
They are.
And
Shout out Gary
talented,
Haas.
too.
Fuck yeah. One of my mentors when I was in Dallas. You know, I was throwing drugs, doing AFF, all hot shot and shit, doing coaches. And Gary's like,
Yeah.
man, dial it back. You know, play more of the star role, more calm and cool instead of being everywhere at once. Gary kind of like, he tuned me up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. He
Yeah.
knows his stuff.
Yeah.
I helped him learn video.
Really?
Yeah. He was one of my students.
And where was this at? Where was that in Whitewright?
No, it was Decatur, Texas. No, Arrow Country, Texas.
Arrow
at the
Country.
time. It's not open anymore.
Where was that at?
It was in just near Dallas.
Okay. 182?
Huh?
Was it a 182 drop zone?
No, they had a beaver.
What the fuck? They had a Beaver?
Yeah.
Is that what they had in El Paso? No. What the fuck is a Beaver?
It's an old military aircraft, and
Look up Beaver. No, you're not gonna look up a Beaver. Okay, good. What you got? Let's see what you got. Oh, look at that skyboard.
yeah, that's a small board.
Is this you shooting this?
No.
Okay. But here's a skyboard. So here's the deal with skyboards, you guys. Look at that. You don't stand like a snowboard. All of us have this weird thought in our head that you're snowboarding through the sky. It's not like that. Your feet are forward as if you're wearing skis on a board.
Yeah.
And they're offset. So you're not like side by side. They're off. Look at her, leaning back. Dude, that is some ripper shit right
I think this is Joe Jennings footage.
Okay. POC Sky Surf, Mike and Pauline. This is Mike and Pauline.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So she had like a camera on her. Look, what camera is that on there? On the front of the board.
I don't know. It was before GoPros.
Yep, it sure was. Where are they jumping at? What is she doing?
See, this is where they really get
Oh,
up. to
that's when
speed.
you're hauling ass.
Yeah.
So she's like head down in a shelf with the board spinning.
Yeah.
And now she's back up. This is sick footage. Now, who's that? That's the dude that's on all the videos. This dude was real famous.
Let me see that.
This
That's-
dude was...
That's Patrick.
That's Patrick. Okay, he was real famous. Watch this helicopter he's about to fucking pull off. This is what he's... Dude, he's in... What was that video? Crosswind. Do you remember Crosswind, Mike?
No.
The movie... You were in it, I think. Crosswind. Way long skydive video from a long time ago. All these people... I think your footage is in there, and you're in this movie, dude. We got to see it.
Could be.
Yeah. The opening scene, he's in there ripping it up on his skyboard. Look at that. Dude, he's doing flip twists with the board. Why did it disappear, Mike? What do you think happened?
Well, once it used to be on a TV. I forget the name of the show. Every year they had a championships, and that generated a lot of interest, and everybody was doing it. And then the TV show canceled it, and people just quit doing it.
Just because they couldn't get on TV no more, I guess, huh?
Well, yeah, and if you think about it, it's kind of a lonely thing to do. It's just you and your cameraman, and we're a social environment.
Right.
We like to.
Right. We want to shred together.
Yeah.
And if you're the only one doing tricks, the cameraman gets no glory either. Damn it, man. All of us wanted a skyboard. Remember the Silver Surfer?
Oh, yeah.
I wanted
yeah.
a skyboard. You know what I mean? I think I tried it once in Dallas. In fact, I did try it once in Dallas, and I was able to get it, and I was scared of deployment, but you just stand and dump. It wasn't a big deal. But I never took it more than 2-3 jumps. We had a little one. Yeah.
Yeah, they had beginner ones. The little ones you start out with, and then you graduate to bigger ones.
Right, yeah.
And, the bigger they are, the harder they are to control.
Man, some of those helicopters, dude, I can't believe they don't pass out. I mean, he's spinning fast.
A guy at Quincy did pass out and went in.
On the board?
Yeah, and I can't think of his name. I'm terrible about names. But at the World Free Fall Convention,
Right.
he got spinning so much he passed out.
And that was it. And that was before AADs, I guess.
Yeah.
Fuck. So Quincy, man, let's talk. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Quincy was the World Free Fall meet. We don't have the World Free Fall meet. This is where Mike Mullins got famous for his King Air being so fast. Was at the World Free Fall meet. This is
Free Fall Convention.
Free Fall Convention, the Free Fall Convention in Quincy.
Right.
It was in Quincy, and then they moved it somewhere else after.
Rantoul.
Rantoul, then Rantoul it died.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was like every skydiver in the country, every drop zone tried to come. They'd show off their planes. They'd show off their teams. There was camping. There was events. There was organizing galore, helicopter jumps, balloon jumps.
Partying like crazy.
Party and fucking pure party.
Oh, man, they partied a lot. I did 4 documentaries of the World Free Fall Convention, 4 years in a row.
How
And
can we find those?
They're in my archives.
Okay. Where would we find the Mike McGowan?
The trouble is, they're on a format that I don't have a machine to play them on anymore.
So it's like a VHS,
Yeah.
and you need to get it processed to digital.
Yeah,
There's a way to do it. You should do that, dude.
I do have one World Free Fall Convention greatest hits,
Okay.
and it is a summary of like all 4 years that I filmed. I took a little bit out of each, and it's definitely X-rated because there's a lot of nudity in it.
Yeah, buddy. That's what I hear about the conventions. We missed out, man. If you started skydiving after 1995,
96, yeah,
96, you lost out.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
era's gone.
Yeah.
We'll never experience that again.
You wouldn't be able to do it anymore because of the high-speed canopies. I mean, they would do like 4 planes, dropping 4 planes at the same time, flying at angles of each other. And everybody was landing really, really close, and you were landing in between the cars and stuff like that. And today, I don't think we could do that because of high speed. Everybody's got to do a 180 before they can land, and
Yeah, it's different now.
traffic would be a real problem.
Yeah, it's different now. It's more about the landings now than it was before. Before it was all about the free fall and shit,
Yeah.
and having fun and partying.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, man. So the stories I would hear is all kind of DZs would have their planes there and they're flying loads, and Mullins would just take off and just cut everybody off, let them out, dive down to get another load, and the first otter was just letting their people out, and he's always already up again.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
how he built
yeah.
his name for the King Airs, and everybody copied after that. I mean, there's a lot of history in skydiving that we don't know or have access to, Mike. Right? We don't have access to that. How do these guys? We're sitting at Eloy right now. I bet you there's 90% of those people in that hangar have no idea that there was a World Free Fall Convention ever.
Yeah, I tell people about it, and they have a hard time believing it. One year there was 4,000 people there.
4,000 skydivers.
4,000 skydivers.
Just going nuts. Full
Going
speed,
nuts, yeah.
unhindered.
All kinds of airplanes that jump out of balloons. We had the jet there.
You'd bring the jet to the convention.
Yeah,
They're flying it again, but that was its heyday.
yeah.
God damn it, man. So now it's more about competition. It got serious. It's like less of a celebration.
You're kind of right. And you were talking about the campfire, and everybody would tell stories afterwards and stuff
Right.
like that, because it was more about fun and camaraderie and pioneering, really.
Right.
And now people are so serious about getting in their 12 jumps by noon so they can get home and go do what they want to do.
Right.
That we've lost that.
We've lost that. Okay, and it's a hell of a sentence. Not everybody can do 12 jumps by noon. That's just Eloy. But there is that get in, get out mentality now. It's not like we were skydivers. You know what I mean? We didn't skydive. I think people would just go skydiving now and go home. Where we were skydivers. We were there to be with our people till we passed out. And we'd wake up again.
We were a community.
Yeah.
Even if the weather wasn't good, everybody would hang out.
100%. It didn't matter.
And wait and see if the weather would get good.
And if it didn't, oh well.
Oh, there'd be a party going on.
There's going to be a party. We're going to start grilling. The music's on. We're telling stories. So, like I was explaining to you, the reason we put this show together is because those stories are being lost. Right? People are just going home.
Yeah.
We're not sitting around bullshitting. A lot of people don't know beer fines came about because you want you want the instructors and people with more jumps than you to listen to your bullshit about how awesome your first couple jump, your first helmet, your first jumpsuit. That's what the first things are. You want to talk about it. You're just gonna buy me a beer so I can listen, right?
Yeah,
and we're gonna sit down and talk about it, and we're gonna laugh, and I'm gonna tell you how I felt, and somebody else is gonna be like, "Yeah, my first jump, I hit the pole, or I landed off. They call me tarmac because I landed face first." And you hear these stories, and like it builds you as a jumper. It brings you into the fold because you have your own stories.
It's a family, and people always want to tell their story. Just because they only got 10 jumps doesn't mean that wasn't an incredible experience for them.
Impactful.
Yeah, and so people wanted to tell their stories and have fun, and they wanted to hear them. But too, people wanted to hear the stories.
Yeah, they want to live with it. And like when you go home, nobody wants to hear your stories. Nobody cares that you're skydiving. They're sick of hearing about it. The only people that want to hear about it are here at the DC.
Yeah.
So, tell me your jump path. I mean, it's 1964.
Okay, my first jump actually was it was 64, and it was in the Navy at Lakehurst, New Jersey.
Okay.
I was a parachute rigger, and graduate, you had to jump with the parachutes that you packed. That's why I became a parachute rigger, because that was one of the prerequisites, and that's what I wanted to do, was make a jump. It was my whole idea about it was I didn't really care about being a parachute rigger. I wanted to make that jump. And then from Lakehurst, New Jersey, I transferred to California. And it took me about maybe 2 weeks at the most to find a drop zone. And I started skydiving at Lakeside, California.
Hold on, let's go back. It's 1964. How do you know about jumping out of airplanes? Like where did you get exposed to it? What planted the seed?
What planted the seed?
Yeah, how did you know you wanted to jump out of an airplane in 1960-something, 1950-something?
I wanted to jump out of an airplane in the 50s.
Why?
Because I lived in a farm, and across this field, there was this airport. The farmer had a small runway, and I was out in the field playing. I was maybe 12, 13 years old, and I seen this plane climbing, and you could hear the engine really working hard. And all of a sudden, the engine just quit, and it made me look at it real quick, and this little tiny dot came out. And I was watching it, and all of a sudden, the parachute opened. So I knew exactly what was going on. So I ran across the field and went over there and started hanging out with these skydivers and listening to their stories and learning from there. And from that point on, I knew that I was going to be a skydiver.
No shit. You were 13 years old and you lived across from a drop zone.
Well, it was a temporary drop zone. The farmer who had the airplane and the runway, he would just occasionally fly skydivers.
1950 what?
59, 58.
When did sports skydiving come to the public?
Well, it was in the 50s. You know, Jacques Cousteau brought it over from France.
Jacques Cousteau?
Yeah.
The diver?
No, Jacques Cousteau.
Oh, okay. I was like, Jacques Cousteau? The fucking, okay.
No, he's
Jacques
D
Cousteau.
number 2, and he actually came over from France, and we had no idea about falling stable.
Okay.
Until he came here, and then he started teaching people how to fall stable. And then skydiving really took off then.
Was that face down, stable fall, frog modified?
Yeah. Arch like crazy.
Yeah, right. Oh, shit. So you guys are doing static lines and landing parachutes before Jacques showed up.
Yeah.
And Jacques Estelle said, hey, you don't have to have an instant parachute. You can fall.
You can free fall and control yourself in free fall. And it evolved, it was a huge thing when they did what they call a baton pass.
Right.
One guy would go out holding the baton,
Right.
and the other guy would get to him and get the baton, and then he would land with that baton.
And that was the only proof that they had met in free fall.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
That was the only thing they had.
Yeah, you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because there were no cameras. There was no cameras that could do it because you would need a VCR.
They didn't have VCRs back then.
Fuck. So the only proof was that I started with it when I left the plane and he landed with it.
Yeah, that's right.
And who were those dudes? Do you know?
Steve Snyder was one of them.
Steve Snyder.
And maybe Lloyd Bryden, who invented the piggyback. Until Lloyd Bryden and a couple other people came along, all of the reserves were always on the front, the chest.
Out, right.
And he came up with the idea of putting a reserve on the back.
Okay.
So it wouldn't, because the chest mount would really cause a lot of drag when you were trying to move forward.
Of course, right. Think
And
about
so
that.
he thought about putting it on the back.
And that's why he put it on the back.
Yeah.
It wasn't function of deployment. It was aerodynamics that designed that.
Yeah, it was for free fall.
I never realized that. I never knew. That's awesome. That's awesome. Look, is that him? Steve Snyder.
Yeah.
D5. Hey, when you start jumping and you try to get to your friend, it takes 15, 20 skydives for you and your buddy to get together, right? To actually get a dock. Maybe 10. Where you're
When I first started, it took 40 or 50
Hold on,
jumps.
that's what I'm saying. With modern technology, video, YouTube, everything you got, AFF programs, guys telling you to straighten your legs as you go forward, it still takes 15 skydives for you to high-five your friend.
Yeah.
It's whole hard to get to your friend. This is before any of that. These motherfuckers were jumping out of the plane, had no idea what they were doing, and they made it to each other.
They learned how to do it. We had all different techniques that don't work, but we tried them.
Right.
I can remember on my 50th jump, I was in a 5-way formation, and it was the second largest formation in the world. A 5-way, yeah.
A 5-way. So it was fucking crazy, dude. Well, yeah, we'll do that shit on a Tuesday afternoon here. What was the record? Like 7:10?
It started out at 5.
Okay.
Actually, the first record was the baton
2
pass,
was
of
the
course.
2, right?
And then a 2-way, and then it went to a 4-way, then a 5-way, and then 8 seemed to be the magic number.
Right.
And to get to be in an 8-way, then that was a really sign that you were a relative.
You did it.
You could do it.
You are RW.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. Who took the first photo in freefall?
Lou Sanborn, I think.
Lou Sanborn. What did he use? Was it a handheld camera? Or do you have something on his helmet?
No, he was using movie film. He shot the TV series Ripcord.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was... So he was the first videographer.
Yeah, film. Well, it wasn't video. It was
Look
film.
at him. Look at him. It was film.
Lou
It was
Sanborn.
film. Did you guys... Hold on. Did you hear what he just said? It wasn't video. It was film. That's a hell of a sentence, bro.
Yeah.
Look at him. Lou Sanborn, D1. First skydiver to attain expert status. Is he still alive?
Yeah. He only recently quit jumping.
First jump, 1949. 82nd Airborne. National champion, 1954. Jacques Andres Estelle. You know your shit, Mike. Skydive Orange in Massachusetts. Hey, shout out to D1 Lou Sanborn. You guys, we have no idea what has come before us.
No.
No idea. And I talked to you guys, and when the Sky Sled came out, guys were all excited. Now we're, I'm swooping the valve like it's no big deal.
Yeah. And the first squares were dangerous.
Okay.
They landed hard. They opened hard when they opened.
Why did they stick with them, you think?
Because they had more forward speed, and people had foresight enough to believe that they could make modifications to it and improve it and make it better and better. And, it didn't have a slider at first. It had a thing called rings and ropes, where the pilot chute was connected to these ropes that went down the lines. And as the parachute started open, the pilot chute would pull those rings off the lines and let the parachute open. They called it rings and ropes.
Oh,
and it was a mess.
It sounds like it could be fucked up, but when it works, it's a good theory.
Well, it worked.
The drag of the pilot chute keeps the parachute from opening too fast.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't open fast enough, it's going to fucking wrap up.
Yeah.
Any hesitation, that pilot chute's coming through the lines and it's going to get knotted and there's no way it's going to open.
Yeah. There was too many things to go wrong.
That's too much shit. So when did the slider come out? I mean, hold on. So you said piggyback is what you guys used to call it.
Yeah.
Now, piggyback, is that where Vector got that pig?
No, this is way before Vector. This is
Sweet Hog. What was
security systems.
Security
it was
system.
called a piggyback.
Okay.
And it was made by Security Systems, and it was before squares. We had rounds in them.
Right.
And everybody, I got one of the first piggybacks because I thought that was, wanted one, yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody said you were crazy because with chest mount, we were taught to pull a ripcord, throw the canopy down, and then inflate it with our hands to get it over our head. And to think that you wouldn't be able to do that with a piggyback.
No, you couldn't.
You'd have to depend on the pilot chute.
Was it a spring-loaded pilot chute?
Spring-loaded pilot chute, yeah.
And it was connected?
It's connected to the reserve.
So on the last show, we had a story where a guy had to roll on his back, punch the reserve, right? Did you have to punch it?
Yes, you could have to punch it. You could get what they call cone locks. It would be really hard to explain what they were, but they weren't locking loops like we have now. They're metal combs, and the ripcord went through the comb. And when you pulled the ripcord, it was supposed to release the rig, but the cones sometimes would lock inside the grommet.
So you'd have to punch it.
You'd have to punch it to
get
make
it to move, and then you can get out, and then you'd have to hand feed it out.
Yeah.
And then you just said they had you shake it to get it open like a sheet.
Yeah.
In free fall on your back.
Yeah.
At 1,500 feet.
Maybe that high.
What were you deploying at in like the 60s?
I regularly deployed at 1,000 feet. But now remember this, we didn't have to track because rounds didn't have the surge that squares do.
Okay.
So I could open up, you and me could open up is our distance that we are right now. What is that, 15 feet?
And no collisions?
No collisions.
Wouldn't you swing anyway? Don't you swing?
No.
So
there's no swinging.
So that means there were a group of guys jumping squares for the first time, and they didn't track away. They opened and they hit each other, and they figured out that they had to get away from each other.
I would imagine that's true.
Because you guys weren't going away from each other. Tracking didn't exist if you didn't have to track. You spent the whole jump getting to each other. Why would you get away from each other?
Yeah.
Right? We're finally here. I'm not going to go away. I'm just going to... Okay. So... I'm a little lost on this. The piggyback reserve, before the piggyback, the reserve's on your belly.
On the chest.
And the main's on your back under your butt. Kind of. There's this big long
it went
thing.
down to your butt.
Like a pilot's rig.
Yeah.
How did you deploy that?
You had a ripcord.
It was a spring-loaded pilot chute also.
Yeah.
So it's a bunch of springs.
A bunch of springs.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
And they had a thing called pilot chute hesitation where,
you know
when you're falling stable, there's a burble behind you.
It dances.
And the spring-loaded pilot chute wouldn't get past that burble, and it would hit your head and dance around. And so I jumped 2 pilot chutes. That way I had less chance of having a pilot chute hesitation because at 1,000 feet, you don't want a pilot chute hesitation.
You don't want to pull it 1,000 feet. But hold on. So you would just route 2
pilot chutes together and then pack them on top of each other.
So you'd smash one down, grab the other one, smash it down, hold it, try to flap, and then close
the flaps. Yeah.
Was one were they both attached to the top of the canopy, or one was attached to the other?
They weren't attached to the canopy on the main. They were attached to the sleeve, which is the forerunner to the bag.
Okay. And was the sleeve connected, or would the sleeve fall off every time?
No, sleeve had a retainer line.
Okay.
So it was just long enough to let the sleeve come all the way off and the canopy to open, but the sleeve would hang back. And
so you had a lot of stuff. You had a lot of shit going on.
Yeah. There was a lot of complications back then.
So you'd have 2 springs and a sleeve dragging on the behind you, but it was around.
That's right.
That's crazy.
We didn't think so at the time.
Oh, I know. I'm just processing the thought process. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, I mean, when we were jumping the first piggybacks, which were bigger than a tandem rig and heavier than a tandem rig, when we were doing that, that was the best equipment out.
Right.
So we felt like we had state-of-the-art equipment.
Yeah.
You know?
We had that shit on my back, dog.
I mean, today, yeah, you would see that. I still got an old piggyback in my house.
Okay.
From the old days. And I jumped it about 8 years ago. And they almost stalled the Otter because everybody went to the door. They wanted to see him. Okay, ripcord, and then the reserve. When it went piggyback, what was the system? It had a ripcord too.
Oh,
but see, you had cape wells.
Cape wells. That's what it is.
And you would have to pull the cape wells and cut away from your malfunction main.
And it's 2 different systems. So if you could do one at a time on accident. You had to try to do them simultaneously.
If you did it one at a time, you're not going to get the other
second one off.
Because it's at an angle. And
it would be too tight.
Yeah, it'd be too tight.
So you had to time and go, you had like open it and then disconnect at the same time to get rid of it. And then you pull another rip cord to pull your reserve.
That's right.
The cape wells were metal boxes?
They were metal. I wouldn't call them boxes. I wish I had a picture of one here. But they were releases, and they had a cover on it, and then these little wires came out. You would put your thumbs inside the wires and finish cutting away. But they were apparatuses is what they were.
All right.
Those are the kind of things you need a picture of to explain.
Yeah, right. But so when you guys trained emergency procedures, it was that's crazy.
Yeah, students couldn't jump piggybacks. Students had to jump chest mount reserves.
Oh, you had to have a certain amount of jumps before you could go piggyback.
Yeah.
But even the chest mount reserves, you still had to do the cape wells.
No, that's where you would take it. You'd put your left hand over the reserve, pull the rip cord with your right hand, and then put your hand underneath the bottom of the skirt hem of the canopy, grab some lines and throw it down and into the spin, and then you would pull those lines that you held onto, and you would shake it, and so it would open up before it got to the malfunction.
Oh, so you just leave the malfunction up there?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you just throw the other. I mean, why not? It's rounds.
Yeah.
So this kind of brings me. Yeah. The stack pack. What is that? $229, baby.
There it is. That's one of the original piggybacks.
Green Star. Okay, it's an old ad. It's this dude with a jumpsuit on, and it looks like a hiking backpack.
Look at the price. $229 for a complete rig.
Hey, main risers are only $9.50. Yo, designed for the relative worker that likes a small, lightweight pig.
And see, that's one of the more modern ones. The original ones were bigger than that.
Okay. I had a Sweet Hog as my first rig.
Oh, did you?
I did. I never jumped it, but it was given to me, and I was going to, and somebody saw it. I was like, nah, man. They didn't let me jump it. But look, hold on. Let's go back to that. The reserves on the bottom.
The reserve's on the top.
Okay, the reserve's on the top as it is now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the main is on the bottom.
On the bottom. So that hasn't changed.
No.
Why is it like that? Wouldn't you think the main should be on top because it's first, and then the reserve on the bottom because it's second?
No, because they did interfere with each other on if you had a malfunction.
Okay, I haven't given any thought to that. But you almost died on a pilot shoot and tow.
I did.
You did. So talking to Brandon Harrington on the show, the conversation was sparked, and it was your name was brought up a lot, and he said you had an incident.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you believe what you do, and that's what's changed my thinking on this subject. And a lot of people's thinking, I hope, because I've been talking about it a lot. So I know all my tunnel guys and my friends. I'm bringing it up. I want to talk about it. I want people to question what they've been told, because I held my skydive training as doctrine, and I would not vary at all. Like, yo, this is the sequence. You stick to the sequence.
You're a good student.
Well, but you've got to question shit, dude.
Well, nowadays you do.
Yeah.
Because there's new stuff changing so quick. And the manufacturers, I used to work for a manufacturer, and you kind of made it up as you went along. Mm. So you do have to question things now.
Right.
You know, like the reason I went in was because I cut away and then I dumped my reserve.
Like we were all trained to do.
But what happened was when I opened the reserve, it loosened the pack tray and the main came out.
Exactly.
Left main riser caught on my reserve slider and pulled the slider all the way up to the stops of the reserve and just spun it all up, and the tree saved my life. But there's no right and wrong way. If you cut away and dump your reserve, you could have happen to you what happened to me. Or the main could stay closed and you'd be happy, dumb, and free flying your reserve down.
Right.
But if you don't cut away and you dump your reserve, or if you don't cut away and you dump your reserve and the main comes out, now you've got two canopies out and they can fly into a down plane.
They could or they couldn't.
They might not.
And if it starts going down, you can steer it back. It's not like an inevitable fucking thing. You can cause a down plane. You can stop a down plane. It's just a rear riser turn. Bring the canopy back. Don't let them split.
Jim Gowan's got a wonderful lecture on that.
Okay.
I'm teaching people that.
Okay. Yeah, it's not a oh shit situation. Like, you can fly those things, you know?
Yeah.
You can put them in front of each other. You can put them side by side. You can let them downplane. They do that in the military all the time. And you can bring it out of that.
Yeah.
So, like, I've really spent a lot of time with this, digesting it. And yet, dude, just pull your reserve. You should have everything connected. I believe it 100% wholeheartedly. And then make a decision. Because if I have two out, I will downplane my main and chop it so I can stay under my reserve in a controlled sequence. Right? I don't think I'm going to land two. If I'm high enough, I'll just take the right rear riser of the main, if it's on the right side, whatever side it's on, make sure they're separate, cut away. Right?
That's one approach. But there's another approach of getting in a biplane where one's in front of the other, and you steer the back parachute and it flies both of them, and you get a really soft landing.
Really, exactly. You got two canopies.
Or you can have side by sides.
Yep.
And you fly them that way. There's a lot of different ways, and I think people go in not because they're stupid. I think they go in because they're not positive what to do. Mm-hmm. So instead of doing something, they end up doing nothing.
Freezing, like goats.
Yeah.
Just freezing.
And that's why the training I talked to you about, and I said you were a good student, even if your plan wasn't the best one.
I have one.
You know, you've got a plan and you're going to actuate it, and you've got a chance. Right. But if you do nothing, so long.
So long. And you got to obsess about these things. That's how you have a plan. You got to think about these worst case scenarios on your own, by yourself, you know, and it's an obsession. And you got to think, what would I fucking do? I mean, this is some real shit.
Well, talk to people who've been through it and find out what their experiences were, and then it helps you make that decision.
Right.
Learn from somebody else's mistakes.
Right. So my conclusion on this thought, which can go on forever, but it's, man, taking the chance of having a loose main go up into your last chance reserve, it's a no-go. You should never allow that possibility to ever arise. Those things need to stay connected, and then you make a decision.
I agree, but I had been taught to cut away and then dump my reserve.
Every time. It's in tandem. It's in everything because we always follow the sequence. And when people went out of sequence, they've died.
Yeah.
Right? Back in the day, like what happened? Oh, it was out of sequence. It was out of, it was out of sequence. Tandem went in. Tandems don't go in. You know what I mean? Something happened and it was out of sequence. And like that out of sequence thought has drilled into me that you always cutaway reserve. It's main, cutaway, reserve. You do your handle checks, pilot chute, cutaway, reserve. You always do it in that order, but in this order you don't. But you're not going to be able to make that decision unless you've obsessed about it and thought about it and ran it over in your head.
Drilled in your head. Because when you have a malfunction, your mind can function in a different way. Some people are cool, calm, and methodic. And I was fortunate enough that when I ran into really tight situations, everything slowed down for me, and I was able to handle it pretty methodically. But there's a lot of people who panic.
Right.
And just start grabbing things and making fatal mistakes.
Bad mistakes.
Yeah.
I see it in the tunnel. Mm-hmm. I'm in the tunnel and people are losing their shit and we're standing there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, we kind of passed this, we kind of went through this fast. You went in.
I did.
He said it. He said, I went in. Do you guys know what that means? That's nothing out. That's double malfunction. And you said trees saved your life. So
yeah.
Do you mind walking me through the jump?
Well, yeah, I had a pilot chute in tow.
Wait, what was before that? It was like two-way, three-way, Cessna, Otter?
I was filming a tandem at Cross Keys, New Jersey.
Okay, you're at Cross Keys.
Where it's surrounded by trees, thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
And I was filming a tandem. They opened. I threw out my pilot chute. Nothing happened. I
elbowed it.
Elbowed it. Nothing happened. So I cut away, dumped my reserve. As soon as the reserve opened up, it loosened the main pack tray and allowed the main to come out. And almost instantaneously. And left main riser caught on my reserve slider. Pulled the slider all the way back up to the slider keepers and then spun it all up. And I went through these trees.
But before that, you look up, you see the mess. What are you doing? You grabbing on risers, trying to kick out of a line, but not. What are you doing?
It was really twisted and stuff like that. And
are you looking at the ground, or are you looking at the sky and the canopy?
I was looking at the sky and the canopy. I glanced at the ground, but here's one thing: is I don't want to get deep into this, but I'm rather spiritual, and I don't want to die, but I'm not afraid of it. Mm-hmm. So that wasn't what was scaring me. What was scaring me was I wondered how hard it was going to hurt before it actually killed me when I hit the ground.
So you accepted it. This was
it. Yeah.
At what point, when you saw that it was wrapped, you were like, "That's it."
Nothing you can do.
Was it peace? Was it just an acceptance?
There was an acceptance that I was going to die.
Yeah, and you just didn't want to hurt.
I didn't want it to hurt.
And then what happened?
Well, I hit the trees, and it stopped me just for a second. These are big 40-foot high trees, and it stopped me just for a second. The branch broke, and then I fell 40 feet on my back, and they had to air vac me out.
Were you conscious?
Yeah, through the whole thing.
Did you think you were going to live?
I was worried I ruptured an aorta because I hit so hard.
And you felt it inside your body. You felt your body rock.
I was worried about that, and that's fatal, of course. But I could move everything, and I could talk.
Okay. How long of a recovery?
3 weeks.
And what injuries did you sustain?
I bruised everything in my body just about. I think my eyeballs were bruised.
Okay.
And they thought I broke my back from the MRI. But then they looked at the MRI again, and they said, that's not a new break, that's an old break. So we don't have to put you in a body cast because it's already done what it's going to do. It's healed all it's going to heal. So I didn't break anything. I was in very good shape when that happened.
Yeah, military. Yeah. Were you going to stop jumping? How many jumps did you have at the time? That's 300, 2 or 300?
No, I had 6,000, 7,000.
Holy shit. He had 7,000 jumps when this happened. Very experienced. Highly experienced. Much more jumps than I got right now. Did you have it? Were you going to quit?
No, I never even thought about it. I was jumping 3 weeks later.
Oh, you guys got... Man, I broke my leg and got back on the plane. I understand. I got back on the plane with a boot. I was doing tandems in the boot. Landing with one foot up, sliding on my ass.
Yeah, you got the spirit. You got the spirit.
Yeah, I understand. I understand bouncing back. That's insane. And in your spirituality, you never thought it was a sign or a message to you?
Yeah, I did. I wondered, one is, why did I live? Where I landed, there was within the size of this room, you can't see it on the screen, the room's maybe, 30 feet by
Classroom.
20 feet?
Average classroom.
Yeah. And all around there had been trees that had been cut off, and they were like sticking out of the ground about 4 feet. And I landed right in a bed of leaves. I mean, I should have died. There's just no question about that.
So there it was. Why didn't I do that?
Why didn't I die? What's my purpose? What is my creator got in mind for me?
Had you ever questioned it before that moment, you think?
No. I just figured I was alive to skydive and
Have fun.
Yeah.
Drink beer. Holy shit. And what answer did you get?
Well, I'm an alcoholic.
Yes.
And I got 40 years sobriety.
40 years sobriety, buddy.
Yeah, so I've learned a lot about staying sober. And I think what I'm supposed to do, and that's why I don't mind talking about it publicly, is help other young people who are in alcoholism, help them get along so they can find the sobriety that I found.
Right.
And I think that's why I'm here. And I've done it. And I talk about it freely. And it's not uncommon for me to get texts and emails from people saying, you know that conversation we had 4 years ago? I've been sober 3 years now because of what we talked about.
Yeah, buddy.
And see, that's
beautiful.
It don't get no better than that.
That's a life saved.
Yeah, of misery.
Of misery. Oh, man. What was the catalyst that helped you quit? Were you still drinking at this moment?
No.
Oh, so you had stopped drinking before this?
Yeah, I wasn't drinking when I went in.
When I went in, I've had dreams of going in. You know, and I always get up to see if anybody saw. That's all I want to know is who saw me go in. You actually went in, dude.
Yeah.
You feel like you were born again?
No.
Nothing.
No, not like that.
It was just a moment.
Yeah, just a moment. I think I've been born once. That's enough.
I get you. So, when you started video, this is 70-something, 80s?
Beginning of the 80s is when video came out.
Sony's? Where were you? What did you have
We
in your
had
head?
a chest recorder.
Fuck yeah, this is what I'm talking about, baby boy.
A chest recorder.
With a battery.
With a battery and a recorder on it.
But what kind of battery? Like a fucking car battery?
Well, no, it wasn't a car battery.
Not a car battery, but a little, what was it?
It was probably 15 inches by 2 inches by 4 inches.
Okay.
And it went inside the recorder.
Oh, okay.
That was on your chest because the recorder wasn't on your camera. They didn't have camcorders back then. So you had wires.
Is that where camcorder comes from? A camera that records? Because before they were just cameras.
Yeah.
This is fucking crazy.
So we had wires going from the chest recorder up through our jumpsuit and up to the camera on our helmet.
So really, like a wire.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You couldn't move.
Well, oh yeah, you could move.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there any entanglement?
You had to consider that. You had to make sure that I tacked the cords down to my jumpsuit, so there was just enough room for it to reach the camera, but not enough room for it to dangle behind my back.
Were you doing the side mount or the top mount in the
Top
beginning?
mount.
Top mount.
I don't believe in side mounts.
Okay, why not?
Because I think one thing is they're prone to riser hits.
Yes, they are. I've lost a helmet because of that.
Yeah. And so I just don't like that because it's prone to a riser hit where it's on top. You know, it's not.
Right. Yeah, so we used to have big boxes.
I know.
Right. So what I talked about on the show, I used to deploy and look at my pilot chute to make sure my box was down when I released, so my risers would come out without knocking my helmet off. I lost $1,000 helmet when I didn't have any money. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
know
my lens on my still camera, which was this fucking big, cost more than my parachute, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
And
Lenses are expensive.
And I lost it on a jump over a prison in Oklahoma.
That's heartbreaking.
That's heartbreaking, dude. The whole helmet, I just felt it come off, and I watched it just spinning in the fucking...
Nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do. God damn it. But now, GoPros. How beautiful is that?
Yeah, they're great.
Have we showed that picture of him in that helmet yet? Look at him. That's what it used to be, baby. Is that lights?
Yeah, I had flashes. I like to use fill flash to take the shadows out of people's faces.
Even in daytime?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, fill flash in daytime is not an uncommon thing for professional photographers to do.
Right, and you just brought it to the sky. So look at that. Hold on, let's go with that. So the lens I was talking about I lost, if you look at the top, so we got a picture of Mike McGowan. He's in an old school bonehead flat top.
Yeah.
It's an old school bonehead flat top. The chin mount on this thing is like, you guys got to see it, man. Holy shit. It's like his whole face is like in a chin cup. He's got the eyesight. People don't really use eyesights anymore.
Ring sights. No, they do.
Do they?
Oh, yeah. Not the people with GoPros who are just camera pointers.
Right.
You know.
Photographers.
But photographers use a ring sight so they can compose their photo.
What do you mean? Like, what? Can't you just look at the damn thing?
You don't know what it's seeing. Not without a ring sight that's calibrated to the camera.
Right.
So what the ring sight sees, the camera sees. So
right.
you know if you got the ring sight on your subject matter, the camera's on the subject matter too.
But with the wide angle lens, isn't it getting, but it's not getting exactly what you see, right? Because the ring sights have like holographic targets in them.
Yeah.
Like not the ones, because I think after a while they just started selling cheap ass glass with like a dot in it and called it a ring sight. But the old ones were holographic and really fucking cool.
Yeah,
and it looked like a hunting target was in there. And that was for the photo.
Yeah.
Right, let's pull that back up. Okay. And then if you go to the top of this helmet, he has what we used to shoot. What did we used to shoot? What is that camera on the left with the big fisheye lens?
Big fisheye? That's a 2 1/4. That's a Pentax 2 1/4.
Okay.
The film was 3 times the size of a 35 millimeter. But man, the image quality was amazing.
Oh, so that was a film. That was still film there.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's a film camera on top.
It's all film.
Both of those, that Nikon's a film too? That's not digital?
Yeah, that's film too.
Yeah, we used to shoot. Remember, I used to shoot my roll on the exit, dude. Like my tongue switch or my bite switch would get stuck, and like it go, and the whole roll's gone.
Yeah. I always used the hand switch.
You used a hand switch. Mm-hmm. I never had a hand switch. You ran it through your wings?
Yeah, you ran it through your sleeve up to your camera. I don't know, the picture's gone now, so we can't see.
Right, let's see.
Oh, you can't see the lines coming up to the camera.
What hand? Your left hand?
Left hand, yeah.
Left hand, so you could deploy it the right and not get tangled up in your pilot chute.
You're pretty sharp.
Well, I've been doing this for 20 years, doggy. So did anybody at the DZ have a hand? No, we've always had blow switches and bite switches.
Yeah.
I've never seen a hand switch. But I feel like I have. It's a red button. It's a little black box with a red button. Somebody
That's
had
right,
one.
a momentary release.
Dude, I'm digging back in when I was like, before my A license, I saw a guy.
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts. So that's how you shot.
Yeah, but see, you had more control. Remember how you just said you run off a whole roll of film?
On the bite switch.
On the bite switch.
Because if you're nervous, you just punch down on it.
With the hand switch, you knew every time you were taking a picture.
Well, same with the blow switch. You ever use a blow switch?
Oh, yeah.
I like the blow switch better.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. But you can out there, like if you're rear floating, and you can really kind of be blowing through it. You could be running off pictures now. But
and not even mean to.
It doesn't make any difference now because it's digital.
Now it's digital. But no, before we had 22 shots, 24 shots?
24 shots or 36 shots.
Yeah.
Depending on the size of the roll of the film.
Well, the roll of film, the bigger roll was more expensive.
Yeah.
So I bought the 24s, because I had to give them all with the jaws on.
Yeah.
It's crazy, guys. We would shoot film, land, and hand them the roll of film to go get developed themselves.
That's exactly right.
And then I would go home, and I had a whole setup, and I would burn the video from tape to a CDR, and then mail it to them on Monday.
Yeah.
I go to the post office with like a stack of 20 envelopes and mail out videos every week.
Yeah. DVD, yeah.
The DVDs. What did I say? CDRs, yeah, DVDs.
Yeah.
That was insane. I forgot we even did that.
That was state of the art at the time.
Yep. I had a mixer board for the music. Mm-hmm. Jump. Right? Every video was the same music.
That was called linear editing.
Linear, okay.
Now with computers, it's non-linear.
Right. So that's when you have like the preset templates and everything just drops into place?
Yeah, or you can move it around the way you want.
Oh, yeah, make clips. Yeah, because remember, we just have to hit play. And you might hit slow-mo or something, but it was linear like a mug. What you did is what you got.
Yeah, and you couldn't move it around.
Right. You couldn't clip it up and reorganize. So you run the school here.
Yeah, I do.
The videography, all video at Skydive Arizona.
Just tandem video.
Well, that's all of it. That's the main video going out.
Right.
And it's what, 1,000 jumps and AFF rating? What is it to work for you?
You got to have 500 jumps to start doing tandem videos.
Okay. Do you require any kind of ratings?
No.
No? Okay. Some places require a coach rating or AFF rating to jump with a tandem.
Not with a tandem. Used to be with AFF, you should have an AFF rating.
Okay. Right on.
But tandems, no, they're not required to have anything. But I put them through some gruesome training.
Okay.
I got a real training program where first they go out and they jump with their friends and get an idea of how to time the exit and stuff like that. And then I put them on a training jump with the agreement of the tandem master because, he's kind of putting himself out there too.
Right.
And they'd land and I'd go over their video and I critique it and we'd build on that.
Right.
And they'd quit making those mistakes. And then we got what they call a spec jump.
Right.
When they graduate to that, because they weren't getting paid for these training jumps.
Right.
They're buying their own ticket and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But when they graduate to spec jumps, that means that they get paid $20 and they have the opportunity to sell that video to that person too and then make $50 instead of 20.
Right.
And then after they graduate from spec, they become
They're in rotation.
on the roster, yeah.
Yeah. Man, I can't tell you how refreshing that is to hear. If you see some of the quality of the shit that's coming out of some of these places.
Oh, I see it.
It's
When
horrific.
I travel, yeah.
So my boss used to be like, hey, if it's not in frame, don't land here. That's what he used to tell us. He's like, don't even land here. Just go land off over there. I don't need that shit here. He's like, because you're representing this drop zone. And if your video's all crap, then you're like, why are you even wasting the jump slot?
Yeah,
know what I mean?
and it also represents, see, the person looks at that video, and if the video is crap, they equate that to the drop zone being crap, too.
Right. Of course.
So if you've got a class act video going out, a person will just naturally equate in their head, that must have come from a really good drop zone.
Right. If it looks good and it looks cool, you're like, wow, that shit's happening.
Yeah.
But if they're a mile away, you barely see them, you just see their face for a second, and the parachute comes out. Come on, man.
Yeah.
So this is a funny story. When I was learning how to shoot tandem video, I was being trained, right? First training jump with my boss. So funny. I'm an instructor-assisted deployment student, which means I've never been through AFF, which means at this point, I had never seen a free fall hand signal in my life, right? I crawled out on the wing and let go, and then I did that again, and then I let go and threw my parachute, and then I let go and spun until I could stop spinning, and then I was skydiving from that point on. No one had ever shown me a signal in free fall. I'd never been in free fall with anybody. And then I started jumping with my friends. So I'm doing this tandem training with my boss. I jump out with him, Jack Reeves, the legendary Jack Reeves. I jump out. I'm trying to get in. I can't get in. And he starts giving me the leg signal. Legs.
That means
legs.
Straighten out your legs so you'll come in.
I think he's telling me to peace out, peace out, peace out. So I turn and fly away at 9,000 feet. I'm by myself. And we land. He's like, what the hell were you doing? I was like, you told me peace. So I left, and he just fucking laughed. He called us his stepchildren. Right, because he had the AFF kids, and then he had the IAD poor kids that were like, school lunch, we were food stamps, he called us. He's like, food stamps, you stepchildren.
That was a lack of communication, because you should have been taught that before the jump.
But he didn't. No, he was just going to teach me. Because he's around his AFF students. He didn't consider me an IAD student. And at that time, I was jumping a lot. He just figured I knew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, after that jump, he tightened me up, But that's funny. That's funny. And I never forgot this, because I was scared to get in close enough. And we were shooting wide angle lenses, those fish eyes. So even though I was like as close as we are right now, it's way too far away.
Yeah. And here's the funny thing about it. The people that come to my class, they've got 500 jumps. They've been in 10 ways, they've done sequential and everything like that. But then they put a camera on and they're afraid to get close. Now go figure that.
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah, and I don't know what that anomaly is, but when they put a camera on their helmet, they don't want to get too close to the person. Yet they have the skills to go in and dock on that person if they want.
Yeah, they'll fly with their friends all day up in their faces.
Yeah.
But tandem is such an honor to shoot, and it's so precious. There's a lot of pressure on top of it. Now you got this camera on your head, and you're just, I don't know. I'm scared to get close. And he told me, he's like, you're not getting the shot unless you can see yourself in their goggles. I was like, what? He goes, can you see yourself in their goggles? And then when I started flying in and seeing myself, I was like, oh. And then I was too high because I was level with them.
Yeah,
so I'm shooting the TI the whole time, right? And then you had to come down. It's a learning process. I love camera. It is my favorite thing to do with the drop zone. It wasn't as consistent money as tandem. Everybody's getting a tandem, not everybody's getting a video.
Exactly.
So I had to chase the money, but if I had a choice, I would shoot tandem video all day.
Flying good tandem takes more skills than AFF or tandem. I promise
tandem video? Shooting tandem video takes more skill.
Shooting video takes more skills than doing AFF or tandem. There's so much involved.
Let's unpack that.
I've had.
Are you talking about AFF level 1 or AFF level 5?
No, I'm talking about the AFF instructors.
Right. Yeah. I'm talking about after they release the student on jump 4 or 5, it takes more skill than shooting video. I think maybe the first jump. I don't think camera takes as much skill as an AFFI.
To shoot a good tandem video, if you can shoot a good tandem video, you've done a documentary. That's what it is, really.
Okay.
Right?
I see what you're saying.
My people have a shot list, and they have to shoot the certain edits, and you have to really be able to compose the shot. You have to be able to fly to them. The same thing as an AFFI does when they let go of them. They have to be in there, and not all tandems are hunky-dory. They don't all fall stable. They spin, they tumble.
They rock.
And stuff like that.
Level changes, constant level changes.
And you've got to keep your composition going right. And if they're sliding to one side, you've got to learn to slide instead of turn and fly to them. There's an awful lot to do in the tandem video.
I see what you're saying, and I actually take back what I said. It actually takes almost more flight skill to actually get the good video and stay in frame. Because, AFFI, once you get your hands on them, you can manipulate them and dump them. You're not really flying, though. You can't grab the tandem and make them stop.
Yeah. And don't misunderstand me. I'm not taking away from their skills.
Not at all. Yeah, I wasn't. I'm sorry I took it that way.
I admire their skills.
Right. But they can stop it, and they can grab it, and they can manipulate the situation. Where tandem video, you're stuck with what you got, and you got to fucking fly until they deploy. It doesn't matter what they're doing. You can't grab them and stabilize them. You're not allowed to touch,
And
you got to fly your fucking ass off and get that shot.
That's right. You don't have the luxury of having a hold of them.
Right. Hey, stop doing that. Relax. Right? Like, okay. Yeah.
And you got to be thinking about composition and distance and everything else, too.
Light.
The TI really helps you with the light.
If they turn into the sun. If they don't, then you got to guide them. If they're doing their own thing.
Yeah, you got to give them the point. But most of our TIs here at Eloy, their heads up. Yeah, they know when they exit, as soon as they get things in control and they do their handles checks, they get turned into the sun.
Right.
So we got good video. So we've got incredible TIs here.
I'm sure it's the greatest drop zone on earth. We were trained that we had to do our handle checks in the sun. Right? You don't do the checks because it has to be on the video. It's just the way Jack wanted it. Right? You get out, get stable, arms out, find video, good. Boom, 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 ball. We used to have the ball on the old vectors, right?
Yeah.
Right, checking ball, and then you can start to skydive. And that was he just said that's what the best in the world did, and that's what we've always followed. Right? Because that was good
that's
training.
viable.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. How many tandems you guys do in a year?
Ooh, I don't know. A lot.
A lot.
Tandems is slowing down, though, now. I think the allure of doing a tandem isn't as great as it used to be.
Okay.
So I don't see as many people doing tandems anymore. I think they're doing other things. They're doing bungee jumping and things like that.
Really?
Yeah.
You think there's going to be an overall slowdown of the industry?
There is already.
There is already, isn't there?
Yeah, I talked to other people, other schools and stuff like that, and everybody's got to slow down. Now, the economy has an awful lot to do with that.
Right.
Because you don't have free money to spend. You're just able to make your house payment, your car payment, and put some food in your kids' mouths. Before the economy got bad, they had extra money so they could do some fun things.
Right,
yeah, disposable money. That's the word I was looking for.
Right. Man. So if we're talking about trends like this, and I'm guilty of it because I took all the hand cam money I could fucking get. I gobbled it up. But I believe that hand cam has killed the AFF instructor because it's hard to get 500 skydives if you're paying for them. But if you could become a videographer outside video, you could get your jumps paid for, you get your flight skills, and then you can become an AFF instructor and move on to tandem master and everything else. So I'm thinking the hand cam's killing tandem masters also, because if you're just skydiving, it's hard to get those 500 jumps if you're not shooting video.
Yeah.
Coach jumps don't do it. Organizing kinda cameras how you get numbers.
You know what I think about hand cams? I don't think they're a good idea, and let me explain why.
Okay.
I understand why they have to do it at small drop zones. You got a 182.
Yep.
You can put 4 people in there. That means 2 tandem passengers.
Or 1 tandem, 1 video. Now you have double tandem, double video. You've got a plane that seats 6 with 4.
Yeah.
That's how that works with the hand cam.
On the National Board of Directors.
Okay.
And I worked on a committee called the Compliance Committee, and we would take a look at where people would bust the rules, and then we'd have to decide what to do about it. And it's compliance. You try to get people to comply first.
Right. You don't want to make it so harsh
But
they
I
can't.
see almost every tandem video incident that I've witnessed, because we get the video to look at it, a hand cam was included, because the TI gets so involved in being a photographer, he lets some of his tandem master duties slide.
Because he's trying to get the shot.
I seen a TI one time, had a Drogan tow, had no idea. He was so busy filming.
No, he popped and just went back to filming, woo, and just went back to fucking skydiving.
Yeah. I think a TI should really, his main function should be to do that tandem and don't add anything else to it.
Right. I see that, but man, that extra $50, dude, per jump, $35-$40 per jump is double.
Yeah.
It's hard not to do it. I've never made as much money as I ever have in my life was hand cam tandem.
Nothing outranks safety.
No, sir, you're right. You're 100% right. But it's also double the money per jump. It's hard to say no to,
Oh, no, yeah, I don't.
So I had a guy, my buddy Stubby, he gave the option at the drop zone, put the hand cam on the student and let them film their own jump, you do your own thing, and we didn't have to worry about it. And that was fucking cool. So on the ground, we gave him a briefing. Hey, this is how you work it. I'll turn it on. You can film yourself. And then we were free to skydive. And I did most of my last ones like that. I just put it on the student and said, fuck it. because it's way easier instead of doing all this, especially through deployment. You know, you dump, you're like, yeah, I'm really good. If you're really good, you can do this, but it kind of sucks not being involved.
Yeah.
You can do it. You can do it and get the shot to get really good at it, but you know in the back of your mind you want to look up and grab shit.
Let me ask you something. Do you think the quality of a hand cam video matches outside video?
Never. Not at all. There's no way. But back to the 182 equation, you know, you're trying to turn loads. You can get a double tandem, double video, or one tandem, one video, and back up the whole fucking line of people.
Oh.
You might only be able to get 18, 20 loads out of a 182 in a day, and that's pushing. And you might have 30 loads scheduled, because you know the guys never say no to anybody. Everybody's got to show up.
Yeah.
So double hand cam, double tandem, keeps the plane rocking. Tandem masters are making more. Everybody's happier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, camera people are fucking divas. Camera people are all really diva around the drop zone. They feel they're badass. They throw their weight around a little bit, and nobody knows who they are sometimes, right? They're not the tandem instructor. They're not the AFF instructor, but they want to control shit. So I've you know, cameramen can be a little rude. You get rid of them. It's just a tandem master.
Not at my place.
Not here, but other places, you know.
They might be.
Because they're the swoopers. They're the swoopers. They're the, you know, they're not the instructors. So they're kind of in this free realm where they can say whatever the fuck they want without any responsibility. And they're faster than everybody else. And they're jumping more than anybody else. But they don't have instructor responsibility. So they're kind of loose cannons.
Yeah, one of the first things I consider before I take on a student for tandem video is what kind of person are they? Are they going to fit in? Are they going to be positive? Because negativity is a cancer.
It is, and it spreads.
And it spreads like crazy. And so I really analyze the kind of person that I'm going to take on. And we don't have any divas.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. They just want to do that job. And you would be amazed at how angry they get at themselves if they make a mistake.
Yeah, well, because that's their purpose. You know what I mean?
Because they want to supply a good video to that tandem passenger so bad. I mean, come on, it's their first jump. They'll never, ever make a first jump again.
Right.
That's a big responsibility. You want to get them a good video.
Right. And we were discussing what a lot of guys don't get. Nobody cares if you can carve upside down and do flips, man. Get the fucking shot. Get in there, hold still, and make it about them. You know what I mean?
You're exactly right. They are your star. They're your movie star.
Yeah.
And, I mean, supposing De Niro was given some really intense dialogue, right? And the camera guy spun the camera upside down and right side up again.
You're right.
What do you think De Niro would do to that guy?
Right. What the fuck are you doing, man? I'm trying to get...
This is about making me look good and helping me do my script.
Right.
You know, I don't care what you can do with that camera.
Right.
You know.
Right. And you're not going to get a good shot unless you can do all that stuff. So there's nothing to prove at that point, right? You're just trying to get the shot.
Yeah.
It's very rewarding, man. If you can get that good video and you got that moment when they're looking around and they're all blown away and you're there for that, it's fucking magic.
Yeah. My guys go in and do high fives with them too.
Nice.
But I taught them how to do that because you have to drop your head because when you get that close, the parallax of your camera and your sight, you'll shoot over the top of them because your camera's on top of your helmet.
Right.
So when you go in and do a high five or a fist bump, you've got to dip your head and you've got to know just when to do it. And sometimes I'll let them spin.
Nice.
And that really gives a good visual. But
Yes,
they've got to be good enough so when they let go of that spin,
they don't back up 100 miles.
Yeah.
So to beat that, you slow down before you let go. You never let go in mid-fucking
and
force.
you do this. Remember what you're talking about?
Yeah, straighten your legs.
Those legs go out.
And you're going to love this. So, greatest time of my life, Skydive Dallas. We're rocking. It's so much fun. The Slichtenmeyers, we got the Yellow Otter, we got the White Caravan. We're turning tandems. Huge parties. It's super fun, great community. My best friends, Casey and Fetus, man. And it's us three, and we're always together. I'm either shooting video of them or they're shooting video of me, right? We did any slot. And at the end of the day, we do AFF together. And this is every day. It was so fun. I came up with dog fights. Dog fights, Mikey. Okay? It's the best, bro. So, we were a little reckless. Cool? All right.
Cool. Yeah. I just told you I used to dump at 1,000 feet.
Yeah,
Then you're
right. Okay. So I would lace rubber bands under my altimeter, packing bands, right? Soon as we get out of the plane, I would double high five my students. They double high five, and that's how I get them to uncross their arms, right? Because they leave the plane with their arms crossed. I put my hands out, they double high five them. I get to the camera, do my checks, put my wrist down. They take a rubber band out and pop the cameraman in the face. I'll show you some pictures. I got so many pictures of my people just blasting, and the cameraman can't move. He's trying to get the shot.
No, because he's
got to take
get
it.
The shot.
And then I teach him to shoot 2 feet below them, because if you shoot it at them, the rubber band goes up. But if you shoot it below them, you'll catch them right in the face.
You're evil.
Oh, I'm bad. Oh, so many jumps, dude. I'd be like, ugh, my camera, dude. I'll show you the pictures. My people are just blasting them.
Was Pat Patton working?
Pat was out there.
Yeah, he's
Love
a good
Pat.
friend of mine.
Great guy. Great fucking guy.
Yeah, he used to manage the drop zone here.
Okay. Well, once you get to a high level, the guys kind of rotate. Like,
Yeah,
you know, because
yeah.
there's only so many
Yeah.
positions. And like, yeah, Pat was out there. Dude, it was so much fun. So what happened is the cameraman would catch on, and they'd come in and they'd grab the rubber band from the student, and they'd end up doing a tug of war fight for the rubber band during the video. I'd have them like the sit flyers, the camera guy come in sit fly. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, yo, I'm going to move in, and it's just going to be your first second, because you can only track so much. But I'm going to get close, grab a shoe. Then I'd be like, yo, take it, fucking take it. Dude, they get to their back, and they take the shoe. So this is fun. To help train new cameramen on sit flying with the tandem, I would train them. I would tell them, hey, I'm going to dump. I'm waving at 5.5, right? I'm going to wave at 6 now. And I want you to rotate up and hold it as long as you can, and I'm going to pull whenever, but you just try. And then I'd wave at 7.
Great idea.
And let them try. And they get wobbly. I dump so they didn't lose the video. And I've taught 4 or 5 of my friends that eventually we'd get out of the plane and we'd fly the whole time. Then I'd take their shoes, shoot rubber bands in their faces. So let's say I'm a new jumper and I wanna get on at Skydive Arizona. I got 200 jumps. You have to have 500 here.
500 here, yeah.
What else? I got 500 jumps, Mike. I got a brand new GoPro.
2 GoPros.
I need 2. One for stills, one for video.
No, one in case the other one breaks down.
No shit.
So you've got to back
up.
Yeah, because GoPros have been known to malfunction.
Oh yeah, of course. All cameras. Your card runs out, your battery dies.
Yeah, GoPros are pretty prone to malfunction.
What's your favorite camera to shoot video with? What's your preferred camera for your staff?
GoPros.
So what if you had an unlimited budget? What would you have them get? If he can get anything he wanted.
They jump GoPros because they think anything else is too heavy now.
Okay.
Honest to God, you saw that picture with all the cameras on my helmet. I didn't think that was that heavy.
That was fucking heavy, Mikey.
They put a GoPro on there and they say, man, my helmet's heavy.
Oh, no, that's ridiculous. But what you had on your head was heavy. Because I had the Bonehead side mount? It was a Sony, what was it? It wasn't the H, because those were newer. There was the old DV somethings with the fisheye lens. And then we had the Canon on top, I think.
Could be.
With the big old fucking lens. They were heavy, dude. We would jump neck braces sometimes. Right? Like, it wasn't uncommon for us to put on a neck brace because it was so heavy on deployment. Yeah, these GoPros ain't shit.
No, they're nothing. They're nothing.
Even with the double bracket, 2 GoPros ain't shit.
No, it's not like having anything on your helmet.
Are you pulling stills from the video straight up from the program? Does it do it naturally?
Yeah, we use a thing called Shred.
Okay.
And it grabs stills from the video.
Does it use like AI to get the best facial recognition or something, or does it just do randoms?
No, it just does random. I don't like it, if you want to know the truth.
Okay.
Because you get butt shots.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. Is it facial recognition?
There's 100 pictures, and they've got to go through all those pictures to find a couple they like. And the quality isn't good. I took one that was a good GoPro shot and took the grab. And I went and tried. I got a printer I got a studio in my house actually, and I tried to make an 8x10, a little 8x10 picture.
And it was pixelated.
Pixelated like crazy.
From the GoPro. Because they're taking it from the video and not the still.
Yeah.
Can't see. That's why I used to shoot one still every 5 seconds on video. But of course it could fail.
Then you would get some better stills.
Right.
They're pulling the stills out of the video.
this. You'd almost need 3 cameras. Two videos, one for backup, one still shooting. If you wanted to get the good.
Yeah, but it wouldn't work with our shred program.
Okay.
You put it in,
and
it does everything.
So iFly, rumor is we're moving to like an iPhone system that has facial recognition for our videos and pictures. So now it won't be us, because right now we manually take photos with a camera and shoot a video and send it to them separately. And in the future, it's going to be AI using facial recognition, taking the best photos possible, so we don't have to do it anymore. Because that's where it's going.
Yeah,
that's where the software is going.
AI is coming.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So you say GoPros. If it wasn't about the weight, what camera would you recommend for like a fucking, just a phenomenal shot? Something small, compact.
You know, I haven't looked into video that much in so long.
Okay.
Because my true heart is in still photography.
Right.
I'm not really. My first passion isn't videography. My first passion is still photography. I mean, you do a video, right? And they look at the video a couple times, you get stowed in the corner, but you get a really good still. And I have people talk to me all the time. I got a McGowan on my wall.
Nice.
You know, and that picture has.
I've got a McGowan of me, buddy. I got one of me. You shot one of me once.
Did I?
Yeah.
And it's got longevity, and it's art.
It is art. It's powerful, that moment.
Yeah.
Is that a lot of your work up in the...
Ben Prop?
Yeah.
That's all mine.
That's all you. Who's that swooper on the pond looking back? He's got his foot dragging, and he's got this look of bliss on his face. It's right when you walk in the food area. It's a powerful picture to me, man. There's a couple really powerful ones in there. But that look on his face kind of encaptures the reason I jump.
Yeah, I'm a people person when I film. That's why I hate these dark visors. Oh my God, when a person's got a dark visor, because you lose the expression of their face.
I jump a dark visor.
You dirtbag.
But I guess you do lose the moment, don't you?
Yeah, you lose that expression on their face. And the eyes and that tell everything. You don't see it, you know. And if you're doing AFF, you can't speak to your student with your face, facial expressions.
Right.
And you can do a lot with facial expressions.
Right. Oh, you can do a lot with a smile. Oh my God. Dude, in the tunnel, I'll bring people in and they're panicking, and I go to their face and I see them in full panic, and I just smile like, what are you doing? They look at me and they're like, oh. They're like, oh shit, I was panicking.
Yeah.
I'm okay. What up? You know, like that smile. But without that communication, they're going to stay there. And it's wild at iFly, we're not allowed to go in front. You know, we're not allowed to show them that they're okay. Because if I'm smiling, they can smile. Right?
Right.
And it goes the other way. Like, okay, so the circle of awareness on AFF. Right? I always tell the new jumper, you check your altitude, you look at your instructor and you tell him your altitude. He doesn't care how high you are. It's, are you able to say 12,000? Or are you looking at me going, right?
Yeah.
Because now I know what's going to happen. Either you're not there or you're there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, the face. I see what you're saying. That photo of the face. I never even think about that. I like more, not that I like more, but I've always focused more on the body position and silhouette. There's some beauty in that too. Like the ballet of just flying and like what somebody's doing to get somewhere at that moment can be.
Oh yeah, there's a lot there, but you're missing an awful lot when you lose the facial expressions.
Right.
Like you just said, that picture you like where the dude's looking back and you can see the look on his face and he's got his act together.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have seen that with a dark visor.
No. And it's an out-of-body experience. I think his eyes are closed. And he's swooping the pond. You know, and I think his eyes are closed. It's pretty wild. Yeah, man. So, what's next for Mike McGowan? What are you out here running the schools?
Well, I run the school. Don't laugh, but I was really into bowling.
Okay.
But the bowling alley here in Casa Grande collapsed, so I don't do much bowling anymore.
Oh, man.
I got 2 border collies.
Okay.
That they're my family.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if you know much about dogs, but you'll never be loved by any human being in this world
Never.
then you'll be loved by your dog.
And what are their names?
Annie and Zeke.
Annie and Zeke. We got any pictures of Annie and Zeke over here?
There might be one somewhere there.
Yeah, I got Zulu at home. I know dogs. My dog. Yeah.
Yeah, they're my life.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
You shot records. You shot canopy. You shot four-way. What's your favorite events to shoot?
Four-way.
Four-way.
And you know why? You're in tight. You're getting the facial expressions. I mean, it tells everything when you see that guy really intense and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you got to fight your fucking ass off.
And I'm filming people, not shapes. A world record, you're filming a shape.
Right.
You can't identify those people from the picture. You know, they know it because they look at their backpack and their jumpsuit.
Right. Yeah, look at that.
See, that's shooting people. That's what I love to do.
That's a hell of a way to look at it, man.
We're keeping this girl busy, aren't we?
Yeah. She's good at it.
Yeah, I guess.
Can we pull up some of the Jason Sanders? Because you shot a lot of Jason out here.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of swooping. You have a pond to shoot. Isn't that beautiful?
It's great.
Let's see some of his shots, man.
I don't know if they might be kind of hard to find.
Really?
Because they're scattered all over.
You ever play with the water and reflections while they're coming in and stuff?
Oh, I had a cover on parachutes not too long ago.
Okay.
With Kurt Bartholomew.
Uh-huh.
He's coming in, and then you see his reflection.
On the water?
Yeah.
I think I remember that, but now I want to see it again since you got it. That was here?
Yeah.
What a place. How'd you end up in Eloy?
I was at Zephyr Hills, right?
I love Z Hills, Skydive City, Florida.
Yeah, well, there was also Zephyr Hills, too. There was 2 drop zones there.
Okay, I
at
didn't know
one
that.
time. And I was living there and working there, and Larry Hill and I had done some projects together when he had Coolidge.
Okay.
He hired me to come out there to do documentaries of his Halloween boogies and things like that. And we hit it off. Him and I are about the same age, and we have a lot of the same thoughts about things. And we're sitting at the picnic table taking a break, and he says, I'm going to open up this drop zone in Eloy. And he says, I want to make it the greatest drop zone in the world. Now, if you know Larry Hill, you know it's written in stone, brother. If he says he's going to do it, it's going to happen. You know, he says, but I need somebody to run the video and photography. He says, I want my pictures and parachutists all the time because that's the best advertisement there is in the world for me. And he says, I need somebody to set up a tandem video program. And that was when it was just starting, you know. He says, would you come out there? Would you be thinking about coming out there? And I says, well, it sounds intriguing, Larry, and I'd been to Arizona before. I've always liked Arizona. I said, but I would need this, and that, you know, before I could make a move like that. And he says, that sounds fair. He says, but what I want from you is this, and that, which was reasonable, too. So we shook hands on that deal.
Nice.
And since 1990, that's when we did it. It was before the place opened. To now, that handshake has stood strong.
34 years.
Yeah, what kind of relationship is that where you don't have to sign a million papers to get somebody hemmed in to make sure they'll do what they said they're going to do? You know?
That's a testament to Larry.
Oh, my God, yeah. So I came out here and been here since.
Nice. Did you know Scotty Carbone?
Very well.
Did
Very
you?
well.
Yeah, shout out Scotty. Oh, Scotty Carbone.
He's a good cook.
Yeah, he's a great guy, man. He's passed.
He was crazy, yeah.
He was insane.
Yeah,
he did the fucking coolest skydives anybody. He couldn't do that. The lingerie jumps that he used to organize and all the boogie shit he used to do. Scotty was a man, dude.
Yeah. He was a personality.
Yeah.
He was a real personality. He was if he was around, he was the center of attention.
100%. So at one of my first missions, I was going to get my coach rating, and my boss was like, all right, I'm sending you to Z Hills. You got to find this guy named Scotty Carbone, and you got to give him this jewel. It was geode. You know, you cut a geode in half, and it was like the crystals on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very special geode from some ceremony they had done together years ago, and he was returning it to Scotty, and he sent me with this geode to find this guy that lived in a trailer on this drop zone in Florida. And I ran into Scotty, and he cooked steaks, and we drank beer, and he told me stories. And then one night I was in my tent, and it was raining, and he got me out of the tent, and I stayed with him, and it was just under
We
his
had a
wing.
heart of gold.
Under
He had
his
a
wing,
Heart
man.
of gold.
He's the greatest guy, man. He was still at the drop zone when he passed, I think. He stayed till the end.
Yeah. You know what happened to him?
No, I don't.
He had a tooth pulled, a molder or something, and you know how they pack it and everything like that. While he was sleeping, the packing came out, and he drowned in his own blood.
You're fucking kidding me.
All this shit that Scotty Carbone did, he used to dump at 1,000 feet all the time too.
Right.
And I mean, all the stuff that he did, and then have that happen to you.
Well, if it's your time, right?
Yeah, but when it's your
You don't
time,
have a
it's your
choice.
time.
So you might as well live as hard as you can, because none of that other shit stopped him.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was doing crazy big ways down to 1,000 feet, organizing nonsense jumps, right?
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
We were in DeLand one time and we were doing big ways, and this girl there was a collision and it knocked her out, and Scotty Carbone chased her because she was just tumbling. He took it down to about 800 feet before he gave up and pulled himself. But he was trying to get her so he could pull for her. But she was tumbling and everything so much, she was an impossible target.
She went in.
Yeah.
And
He came that close from going in.
yeah, trying to save her. And that's the kind of dude he was, dude.
Yep.
Man, how many friends have you lost in this fucking sport?
Too many.
Tons.
Too many, yeah.
You've done 3 lifetimes.
3 lifetimes, what do you mean?
60 years, dude.
Yeah.
Piggybacks, and now we got sky hooks.
Now we got sky hooks.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Isn't that amazing?
You ever used one?
Not yet, but I got one, but dude, I'm torn. I don't know if I should use it anymore.
Why?
Jump on the Valkyrie 90, and if it's spun up and I'm on my back and I dump and I'm just gonna spin up under my little ass reserve, I don't think I want that.
My experience with the skyhook is I had 3 or 4 malfunctions kind of within a short amount of time. Twice the skyhook worked, and twice it worked just as an RSL. And I was spinning, and because it worked as an RSL, it didn't pull the reserve out nearly as quick, and I had line twist on my reserve.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think I'd rather just disconnect it and just leave it there.
Yeah, it's a personal choice,
Right.
you know, because it's like a pilot shooting tow. It could go either way.
Well, what do you have a better chance at?
Depends on the situation.
Right, because if your left arm's broke or something.
Small canopy like you're jumping, maybe a skyhook ain't the hot tip,
Right.
you know. When a person's jumping on, I hate the word normal. God, I hate that word, but I'm going to use it. A normal size canopy, and they find
150 plus.
they find themselves down because they're not thinking what's going on. They find themselves down to 600 feet. They cut away. They're going to live because that's
They have a skyhook.
Yeah.
So it's a redundancy for maybe a newer jumper, but not really required under high performance canopies, because it's almost a danger.
It can be.
I mean,
It
because
can
dude,
be.
the power of these fucking things, man. I mean, and I know I might be a pussy or whatever, but dude, the forces I've felt under this fucking parachute are like ungodly, you know, and they're going in a good way. I can't imagine if I was out of control and it was full out spin, like the pressures, like Brandon was talking about it, like on your back, the blood's rushing to your feet, you can barely pull your, you know. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
be spinning like that and have a parachute come out automatically, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a lot to think about.
Yeah, it can go either way. I mean, if you've got that spinner, right, and you know how fast you come out of the sky with a spinner on a small
Right.
canopy, and you find yourself at 800 feet by the time you cut away, you know, because
Right.
of the forces or whatever, I would rather have a reserve with line twist.
Than nothing.
Than
Than
nothing.
fighting to reach and try to pull. God, so what do you do? It's
Yeah,
fucked.
yeah.
It's fucked.
It's a coin toss.
It's a coin toss. When was your last jump?
About 3.5, 4 years ago.
3.5, 4 years. And you decided that was it?
Yeah, I had an ankle replacement.
Okay.
And the doctor told me, and that's a terrible, oh my God, it's a terrible experience. It took me a year to recover from it. But he said if I jumped, the ankle replacement would last about 5 years. If I didn't jump, it would last 20 to 30 years.
So the rest of your life.
And there's another part to that story too. I mean, how do I say this? I set standards in skydiving photography.
Right.
I invented a lot of things and saw a lot of highs.
Right.
A lot of highs. Always being the first at this and the first at that. And when I was 70 years old, 72 years old, my skills were diminishing. And it was empty for me. I thought, the main reason I'm jumping isn't there anymore. You know, and I didn't want to be one of those guys that everybody else thinks ought to quit and they're still jumping.
Right.
You know, and there's some of those people out there.
Right, right. And they're still trying to organize and shit. Yeah, you didn't want to used to be Mike McGowan.
No, I wanted to leave on a high note.
Right.
I wanted to leave on a high note, and I didn't want to have an ankle replacement in 2 or 3 years again.
How old are you now?
77.
Oh, fuck. You're 77 years old?
Yeah.
Because you said back when I was 72. Oh, that's amazing, man. Any advice for people?
Any advice for people?
Yeah, new jumpers.
New jumpers, listen to your instructors, you know. Keep cool, calm, and methodical. If you can't do that, when you get in a jam, and you know this, you will get in a jam in skydiving. It's not an if, it's a when.
Right.
And if you're not cool, calm, and methodical, you're liable to really screw up and cost yourself your life.
Right.
You know, so you should have that mentality. And if you don't have it on the ground, you sure the hell ain't gonna have it in an emergency procedure.
Right.
So practice that.
Obsess.
Work on that mindset. Students should dirt dive that airplane, or that jump in the airplane all the way to altitude.
All the way.
All the way. He should visualize and see himself doing it. I'm a firm believer that if you see yourself do it, you will do it.
Me too. 100%. If you see it, you can believe it. And yeah, dirt diving it. If you don't dirt dive it, you don't rehearse it, you're just going to I see it over and over again. You're just going to ruin the jump for other people. Not ruin it, but you know, you're not going to know what's next.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're not dirt diving your emergency procedures, everybody laughs. I still do it on the plane. I take a deep breath. I pull right, deep breath, left. I practice before I leave. People are like, oh, you could do it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's fun. It's funny and all, but I need to live.
No, I admire you for doing that.
You know?
See, there's a thing that's happening in this sport that it's more important to be cool than it is to be logical.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so people will do things because it's cool and not because it's logical. And you got to really be careful about that. The cool factor, to me, cool is walking without a limp.
Right. Walking without a limp. Yeah, that's fucking cool. Yeah. So this goes back to the fireside, the bonfires after jumping thing. To us, cool was knowing your shit.
Yeah.
Not your glasses or your fucking swag. You know, you're walking on the plane with your leg straps undone and your helmet not buckled. That's not cool.
No, it's not cool at all.
No, cool was being on top of your game, knowing everybody on the plane, everybody's slot, where you're at, where he should be at, what's going on, gear checks. That motherfucker was the badass.
Awareness.
Yes. The guy that had his head on his shoulders and was looking around and knew everything that was going on, that guy was cool.
Yeah.
Not the guy on his fucking phone not caring about anything, doesn't know the jump, fucks up the jump, tracks away, does his own thing.
Did you ever hear of Jerry Bird?
Maybe.
He was one of the pioneers of relative work, and he worked at Z Hills a lot and at DeLand, and he had such awareness when he was an organizer. He had such awareness when they get down and they were debriefing, he could tell each and every person what they were doing and what they weren't doing and what they should do and what they should continue to do. Nice. I mean, he knew everything that was going on. That awareness was amazing.
Yeah. So I was taught from the old school dude, he was like, you have to take photos, mental photos of every second of the jump so you can explain to your student that their crawl out was wrong, their foot was wrong, their chest wasn't on the strut. When they gave the count, they didn't push up. You know, you got to remember everything on the jump so you can debrief them correctly or you're not a good instructor. So that awareness was drilled into us early.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that's not going on today, maybe. You know, but who's going to tell these guys that?
That's the thing. If you say anything, you're not cool. See, my guys, my videographers, they have to be geared up before they can walk towards the tram.
Good. Yeah. That's smart.
You know, and some of them don't like it because they don't think it's cool. And I see some of them try to get away with it, but I got eagle eyes.
Right.
I see. I'm a documentary photographer, and you're used to having to see things before they're going to happen so you can be there when they happen. Mm-hmm. You know,
anticipate. Situational
awareness is really important to be a documentary photographer. So I can walk by something and I can see a whole lot.
Right.
You know.
And you bring the documentary photography to your skydive tandem videos. So the order you have them shoot is like a film.
They have a shot list that they do.
We did too in Dallas.
And that's a great idea.
Yeah. So in Dallas, we'd have to do the shots, right? It was the interview, the walk to the plane, the halfway up, the skydive, and the landing. And then our template would splice it for us. But then, and we'd set that, this is all in one load, dude. We'd land, we'd start the video, and then we start dumping our pictures onto a CD and packing on the floor while that's going on. And then halfway through, before you close your rig, you grab those, you run downstairs, you deliver them to the people, you shoot the intro video for the next skydive. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm your videographer, welcome to Skydive Dallas, what's your name? And you go upstairs and close your rig and you make that 20-minute call.
You earned your money, didn't you?
Fuck yeah, we earned our money.
Yeah.
You know, and then later on, the editors came in and you paid somebody a couple bucks and they edited your videos for you. But before that, we were packing and editing and burning CDs and adding the music.
Most of our guys have packers now.
Yeah, that's different. Well, I didn't want to pay no packer. I just pack. That's my money, dog. You know, you're doing 15 jumps a day, $5 a jump. That's $70 I got to give up at the end of the day. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, but the thing of it is, if you're on 20-minute calls, to really do a good conscientious job and stuff like that, it takes time. You've got to have time to do it.
Yep, and we didn't have it. We didn't have it, so they got whatever the template did.
You got rushed, and again, I've never done my best work when I was stressed.
Who has?
Right. So if you can avoid things that cause stress, maybe it's worth $70. If you've done 15 jumps, you've made $1,000. You know.
Well, it wasn't cool to use a packer or an editor. Right? The badasses, like you said, it wasn't cool.
Yeah.
So, I land packed, edited, got on the next plane because that's what the badasses did.
Yeah.
Little did you know, if I was smart, I would have just,
You'd have a packer.
Fuck yeah, I would have had a packer. Mad love. Anything you want to say before we get off this, Mike?
No, thanks for having me. This has been a jam.
Of course, man. Of course. Oh, I got one for you. Still versus film on photos. How do you feel about the new cameras and what's going on, the XLRs, whatever?
Oh, the new digital cameras versus the film?
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Would you rather shoot film still?
No, and there's a couple reasons. One is the quality of digital now is better than film was. Another thing is it's helped me learn, because before I would take my film shots, I'd take it to the processor, they would process it, then I would study my slides, and I could see what I liked and didn't like about it and stuff like that. And that helped me. But now with digital, I look at that picture and I can see what I like or didn't like, but it's such a short time period in between that I can remember what my thought process was and why I did it, and I can change my thought process.
Oh, hold on, you just went over my head.
Well, I look at a picture and I say, well, I don't like this composition. And then, but I'm looking at it right after the jump.
Right.
So I remember what I was thinking.
Right.
And I can change my thinking so that doesn't happen again.
Right.
Right.
With the photos, you'd have to wait to get it developed.
You had no idea what you were
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah, you're looking, wow, because it's like 3 days later, right? It was 2 days later.
Yeah, 2 or
and
3 days later, yeah.
Oh, so you're saying you can land from the jump, but like, when I took that, I should have been here, not there. I thought I was, yeah, that's dope. That's okay, so the real-time feedback.
Yeah, real-time feedback's really important.
Do you guys manipulate the photos? What do you do after in your post? Is there a lot of color correction?
No, as little as possible. Here's what a saying I've got: shit in, shit out.
Gotcha.
And so the idea is to take the good picture. Now, because we can't control the lighting up there and stuff like that, we have to sometimes adjust the lighting, the shadows, and the highlights.
Right.
But if you have to take it any further than that,
It was a
maybe you
shit
need
picture.
to upgrade your photography, not upgrade your editing.
Well, that's the hardest part. Like,
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Would you like to read or no?
No thanks.
No thanks. All right.
I got the bum contact.
All good, all good. How do we find you? How do they look at that? Who's that? Is that Jason? No.
No, that's Justin Peters.
Okay.
Or no, Justin Price.
Yeah, this is the pond, man. Look at the water. Well, there's the face.
Yeah, that's Justin Price.
Look at that. Yeah, it's flying
See-
their face off. Why do they have their sliders on?
Yeah, I don't know why that guy's got a slider on. He's probably newbie.
Nice, man.
Oh
Thank
my
you,
God,
Mike.
who's that?
Ah. Yo, WazzyCircus Radio. Keep your head on a swivel. We can find you on Facebook. Where's your photos?
Facebook. It's under Mike McGowan.
Okay.
And it's the only Mike McGowan in Eloy.
All right. All right.
Yeah, not Michael McGowan. That's a different Facebook page. But
Okay.
Mike McGowan.
Mike McGowan. And now that you guys have heard the name, look at your parachutist magazines. Start looking in the corners for the name of who took the photo. You understand who it was, baby.
Look at those photo credits. Come on, give me a break.
All right, oh man. WazzyCircus Radio. Keep your head on a swivel and hook that shit. You can find us out at Eloy. Peace.
Peace, everybody.
Yeah, look at that. Is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
That shit, man. Look at that light. You've always shown the flash, right?
I usually use the full flash in Freeflyer. You done?
Yeah, we're done. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, that was fun. That was great.
Welcome to the WazzyCircus Radio, a show where we are documenting skydive history. These are stories that you would only hear around the bonfire on a Saturday night after jumping. This is how I learned to skydive, not only letting go of the plane, but on the packing floor and in the debrief corner. There's nothing sweeter than a case of ice-cold Modelo's while you burn some random couch on an Oklahoma summer night. We left our studio in Austin and made a brief stop in El Paso, where we were able to interview some of the best flyers in the world. Now we've landed here in Arizona, where we can kayak with wild horses down the Salt River. I can fly paramotors through the superstitions and chase my kids on their dirt bikes. We are jumping out of caravans and otters at Skydive Arizona and Skydive Buckeye. And of course, I get to fly with my wife and kids in the beautiful Scottsdale iFly location. Amen? Amen. We're back at it and I need your support. The Patreon is back up and we would love to have you become a member for as low as $5 a month. And soon, we will offer ad-free listening to our members. Please support the show and your local Freeflyer. Again, thank you for your kind words and support. Keep your head on a swivel and hook that shit.